Thank you very much, Mr. Devraj. Thank you. So we welcome you all to this session and good morning. So I hope every one of you knows the meaning of good morning. What is the meaning of good morning? Okay, what else? Shubh din beete. No obstacles, koi sankat nahi ho. No obstacles. Actually, when I was studying, I was in a convent. Actually, I studied mostly of my education was in convents in India. So there was a father, because convents are mostly run by fathers and brothers. So Christian missionaries. So he asked us that, do you know the meaning of good morning? So we said, yes, the same thing. Good morning may be good, nice. He says, actually good morning means God be with you in the morning. And good afternoon means God be with you in the afternoon. Good word, the word good itself, you remove G-O-D from it, what remains? Just removed G-O-N-D from good. Zero. So actually there can be no good without God. So we start this session. We run an institute by the name of Gaurang Institute for Vedic Education, which is actually based in India and it's got a branch in San Jose, California. There is the Silicon Valley, the IT capital of the world, and San Jose is actually the capital of Silicon Valley. And we put up, Mr. Devraj gave these topics: solving daily complex problems easily and importance of spirituality in daily life. I gave a lecture in Intel Corporation. All must be aware of Intel. Computers don't work without an Intel chip. So I was there. So it was something similar type of topic. They had selected yogic techniques for life management. Now let's come down to the first thing. So let's see, solving daily complex problems, right? Problems. The goal is problems and then the solution, right? Now what do you think problems to be? What are problems? It's okay, but obstacles in what? How does problems arise? What is the reason of problems? Reason means you can say that, but why are you facing a particular problem? What is that particular problem? I would like to be a little specific. You have got any problems in life? You have? Or you don't have? You have problems, okay? What type of, what is the problem? Problem is something when your desire is not fulfilled, right or wrong? Broadly, that's what problem means. When you want something, you desire something, it may be an object, it may be a position, it may be anything. When you desire that thing and that doesn't happen, then you call it a problem. So I'm going to basically mix these two topics because these two topics don't have separate existences. As this is the second topic on the lower end, so actually if you see, this is actually the foundation for the above topic, right? On the lower side, sometimes we think that the lower side is actually not so good, but in reality, the CEO of a company is based on whom? The workforce. And the workforce is broader and he is all alone on the top. If the lower shakes, what happens to him? He falls down. Absolutely right. Which part is more stable? The down one is more stable. So I tell people when I give lectures in corporates, I tell them that basically try to understand, never think yourself that you are too great. You are actually great because of the ones who are down there. Otherwise you would not have been there. Your things would have never have taken place. You would have never been a CEO. It would have been like something like this, that person runs a race and he says, I came first. Then I ask him how many ran in that race. He says, one person. So actually no one will give him any importance. No importance at all. But when you run a race where you got people from all walks of life and then you come first, then it gives you importance. But actually that first importance, who gives you that importance? The people who actually didn't come first. The people who did not come first. So first thing, remember one thing. Here we're not going to talk of winning, we're going to talk of succeeding. I don't believe in the formula of winning, because when you want to win, you want others to lose. Very simple. That is a negative thought. So never think in life of winning. Mostly the motivational gurus who come, they talk to you about winning. And I'm very sorry. Everyone can be successful, but everyone can't be a winner. So which is better? Successful. When you want everyone to be successful, actually you are in a positive frame of mind. But when you want to become a winner, you are actually in a negative frame of mind because you want others to lose. Because how could others win? You could win if others don't lose. For example, in a race. We should run a race for what? That I will complete the race and I'll put in my best effort. Don't run the race for winning. Run the race to complete the race and put in your best. In that you may come first. But what do you like? That all of the ones who ran should also complete the race. That means everyone has been successful. So then the negative frame of mind would not come. That's why you see these heroes. What happens to them? All these heroes who want to win in life, want to come to the top, after a few years they are actually broken, finished, drug addicts, right or wrong? Pop stars. They're competing against one another. That I want to be at the top. What happens to them? Are they winning? Actually, ultimately they've lost. Because they wanted to win and make the others lose. So first thing, the basic first problem mostly we have is this, that we want, our problems arise because I want something because the others also have it. Right or wrong? Most of the problems are due to this only. No, please don't see others, please see your own self. So we're going to talk about solving complex problems easily. Actually, all problems are complex. For an individual, any problem is complex for himself. Right or wrong? Right? There is no simple problems. When you have pain, it is great for you. Others would not understand because they do not know where the shoe pinches. When you put your foot into the shoe, then only you know where it pinches, where it hurts you. The other person, you can tell him. So the basic fact is this: first thing, problems are complex for everyone. Why are they complex? Because they can't solve it. And when they can solve a problem, actually they don't consider it as a problem. Oh, it came naturally, it has to come and we cross over it. So it's not considered a problem. Only anything is considered a problem when you can't solve it, right? Now I'll come to certain techniques of how to basically avoid these problems in life. Now the second topic, which is actually they say for tomorrow, but I'll make it as, it will be a seminar for 2 days. I'll take it from today. Same thing will continue till tomorrow. So I think so most of the people don't have problems, that's why they're not here. Right? Mauritius is a great country. People don't have problems. Because if they had problems, they would look out for solutions. So no problems. It is actually said intelligent people only know how to know that they have got problems and they try to solve them. Foolish people think that they have no problems. They close their eyes to problems. Just like what happens if there is they call it a pigeon. When a pigeon sees a cat, what does the pigeon do? It closes its eyes and it thinks that cat is gone. No, the cat is not gone, you are gone. The cat doesn't go, you go. So most of us basically try to close our eyes to our problems. How do we do that? For example, hit the bottle, go into drugs, try to some way or the other change your attention from the problem to something else. But does that solve the problem? No, it does not. It actually aggravates the problem. Why? Because you have lost so much of time. You have lost so much of time. So it's aggravating the problem, it's not finishing the problem. So, importance of spirituality in daily life. First of all, people do not know actually what spirituality is. Spirituality starts where religion ends. Spirituality starts where religion ends. Religion is a matter of faith, spirituality is a matter of fact. Sun rising in the east is a matter of fact, right? You get up in the morning or not is a matter of faith. The sun will rise. You may think it is rising from the west, it is your thinking, but it still rises from the east. Actually, religion, if you go through the dictionary, you will come to know that the religion, they have translated the word religion as faith. They translated the word religion as faith. So, me and my wife, once we were in Italy, so we were walking down the canal. So, this person was selling something on the next to the road. He was sitting down here, there and selling. So she got interested, she just started seeing it, and she was chanting on her beads. It's very popular, the beads. Muslims chant on the tasbih, Christians chant on the rosary, and the Hindus chant on mala. Actually the same thing. All of them have got these three things. These three are the major religions of the world. You have seen this? So there is no difference in that. So she started talking to him, and then she asked him, what is this in your hand? He says, I'm chanting. She told him, it's just the same thing as you chant on your rosary. Oh, so he said, you're from India. She says, yes. Oh, Indians know a lot about God. The first thing he retorted, he never had gone out of Italy also, I think so. Because his condition was not that. They try to know about God. They give more time to know about God. Then she asked him, what is your religion? And you know what he said? Atheism. My religion is atheism. I have faith that there is no God. So that is actually the translation of word religion. And faith can be changed. You may have faith in something today, not have faith tomorrow. I was in US, it was last 2 months, and I was hearing a program on Fox TV. And then I read some articles on the internet. They said there were Christian priests who actually became top class atheist propagandists. They changed their faith. They changed their faith. From being priests, they became atheist propagandists, not atheist only. They are coming on holding big lectures. So faith can be changed. So here we are not going to talk about any faith. We are going to talk about facts. And facts don't change. Right? So seeing all these things, I decided that I gave a lecture in Intel. And the topic was this. What does management mean? Let's take the last word. Management in simple terms means add resources for the purpose of attaining success. Right or wrong? Simple. In the simplest form, management means what? You're adding resources. It may be financial. It may be in the manpower level. Anything. You're joining the resources, you're adding those resources for what? For attaining your goal, to attain success. That means when you're adding resources, that means knowledge also. That means solutions also. Problems, now trying to link you with that. You have problems, what do? You manage solutions so that you can solve the problem. You may use different resources. Feeling hungry is a problem. And for example, you are on a road in Mauritius it is great that you basically 1 hour you complete the whole country, so you don't have a problem. Basically you can get anywhere to eat. But when I was in States, they said when you go into Texas, there for 300 miles you will not have a single restaurant, single water bottle you will not get. And if your car conks off, you had it. Because you're in the middle of a desert, there is not a single blade of grass also there. So if you are hungry there, that's a big problem. So you have to wait for at least 5 hours, 4 or 5 hours. Because you can't drive over, maximum speed limit is 90 miles per hour. Miles I'm saying, not kilometers please. So that's the maximum speed you can attain. So that, and then also it will take you at least 3.5, 4 hours to basically bear that hunger. So the problem is this, so you like to add a resource. So what do you do? If you see a house, what will you do? You will go towards the house to see if it is habited by someone, so that you can ask him for something. That will at least give me something. I want something because I'm really very hungry. I can't take it anymore. So you're adding the resource through knowledge, that you see a house, that house must be having habitants, the habitants must be eating something, so I may get something to eat. So you're solving a problem by adding resources. Now you're trying to understand what I'm trying to tell you? If you have any questions, we can take it in the end also, and if you really, that question is bothering you really very hard, then you can really raise your hand, because if you can't understand something. I'm here for not giving information, please. There's a very simple saying, information is for transformation. And it will never transform till you don't understand the information. So we take the next step is simple. Life management means to add resources to attain success in life. Now we come, the word yoga. I said yoga techniques. The word yoga is very simple. It is a Sanskrit name for add. It comes from the root word yuj. What is this? To add, to link, to join. In English, very simple. Hindi, जोड़ना. In Hindi, क्या बोलते हैं? जोड़ना. So, English में क्या बोलते हैं? To add. It's a very simple word. It's not. Now see, if I say water in French, doesn't make it different water altogether, does it? What do you call water in French? You? L'eau. So, does it make it different water? I say, give me l'eau. You say, no. But if you tell a person in America, you give me l'eau, he'll take you to the loo. He'll not understand French. So the basic thing is this, that is very simple. So you add. So what, now change it, we go back, try to understand this, we're going back into it. Add techniques. Simple. What to add, that is the technique. When you got problems, what solution to add? You have multiple solutions many a times. Do you have or not? That's why in time management, what do they say? The most important, first, which you can't, send it to the next day. Complete that job now. That's what the basically rule of time management. First thing is, that's the first most important rule. So what to add? Those are the techniques. So this, now you understand the word yoga. Now actually the yoga means adding techniques for life management. What to add? And why manage? Management includes a lot of things for success. You'll have problems. Problems can be of different types. You'll have them. So how to solve them? So now we come, and a person who practices yoga is called a yogi. A very simple word. And you, all of you sitting here are all yogis. No, I don't do yoga. No, you do yoga. Because without adding, you can never solve the problem. Remember one thing. For example, let's take a simple problem. You are feeling thirsty. How do you get rid of thirst? Get rid of thirst. Throw it away. Can you do it? What will you have to do? Add what? Water. Or feeling hungry? Add food. Being in ignorance? Add knowledge. Want to start a career? Add a job. Add a business. Without adding, you can't do anything. But remember one thing. When you add, you have to be smart. That what you add. Because you may, lucrative job, 2 months, give you good salary. Not so lucrative job, but you can stay with it for 20 years, which is good. 20 years. 2 months you are out, again on the road. That's not very intelligent. So you have to be smart enough to what you add. So all of us are yogis. You may claim or you may not claim. Without adding, you can't do anything. But that's how you basically, but now what to add? All of us are yogis. Without yoga or addition, we cannot get success. Any doubts in that? No, it's not possible. Now you say, no, I will give up poison. That is, no, I am not adding poison, I am giving a poison. But no, initially you added knowledge that this is poison. Right? You may go the other way around and say, no, I reject poison, I don't take poison. So I am not adding poison, I am subtracting poison. No, you actually added knowledge that this is poison, then you subtracted poison. So first you have to add. You have to learn to discriminate. And knowledge gives you what? It gives wisdom. Knowledge gives you wisdom. What is wisdom? To discriminate between right and wrong. That is what knowledge is. Now, what does success mean? Everyone of us talks of success. Problems actually are hindrance in success, right or wrong? Problems are a hindrance in success. So what does success mean? What do you think? Sorry, Krishna. Yes? What do you sing? Happiness? Okay. Realization of what? Expectations, okay. Attain the goal, okay. Anyone wants to add in this, or do you think that this is what you wanted to say also? If anyone wants to add, it will be welcome, no problem. Actually, success means that you attain the expectation, goal, right? He jumped a step ahead, right? How do you get happiness? When you achieve the goal, that means you get happiness, right? Let us go ahead, attain goal. And what is the goal of life? Now we come down to this, that what is the goal of life? Is it different for you? Him, or is it the same? How many of you consider that the goal is different of different people? If you think like that, please raise your hands. All of you believe that the goal is one of everyone? So then please raise your hand. I should know, otherwise how will I be able to communicate with you? That means you believe that goal of everyone is different. And how many of you believe that goal is same? Please raise your hand. 2. Many are sitting on neutral. No, there is no neutrality. You got neutrals only in the car. A neutral gear is in the car, no? But not actually in life, no. There is different neutrality in life. Some questions have to be answered. 2 into 2 is 4. There can be only 2 answers, right or? Can there be a neutral answer? No. Actually, you should take positions. That is good. Because when you take a wrong position also, that is also good. Because it has been stated, you are a fool till the time you don't ask a question. You remain a fool till you don't ask a question. The moment you ask the question, you are an intelligent person because you get the answer. I was in South Africa for almost 5 months. So there was a person there, he had a very big business. He was a Gujarati fellow. I was staying with him. He had that catalog business. He had almost 4,000 salesmen working for him. So he used to say in Gujarati, we say that, ask. When you don't know something, ask. If you want something, ask. What the other person will say? No, he's not going to kill you or eat you. Never shy of asking. Ask. That's why children are the best. That's why they say, let the childhood carry on. What does that actually mean? Not to remain a fool like a child. Please remember one thing. Children are not, you don't say children is God. This is a wrong statement when people say that child is God. No, God is never a fool. God is all knowledgeable. But he is simple. We take the simplicity of the child, but not the foolishness of the child. But how the child removes his foolishness. Have you seen the child asking, inquiring every time? Every second minute, what is this? What is this? What is this? And sometimes you go crazy. You say, shut up. So throughout our life, you should be like that. What happens when you grow up? Then ego starts coming in. If I ask a question, if I say something if I make a commitment, it may be wrong. I look like a fool. No, actually you are a fool. Initially, all of us are Fools. So better remain as a fool. That's why you go to a big businessman and say, give me some donation. He says, oh, nowadays business is very bad. And the call comes, what about my Merck? Have you picked it up? The payment has been made. And he's telling you what? That I don't have money. They're every time in the want of money. Because if a businessman, the moment he thinks that I've got enough, he's finished. He is finished. So you tell him if you'll get an order there, he'll run. You tell this to Lakshmi Mittal also, he'll run. But you'll have to give him a big order, not $1 million order. You have to give him $1 billion order. Then he'll run. Still he'll run, though he may be one of the richest men in UK, number one. A great dilemma for UK. Because the country they rule now, the person from that country is basically ruling their finances. He's the richest man in UK. So you should every time be like a sponge. Want more and more and more. That will help, and commitments help, because basically you take a side that helps you. So what is the goal of life? Some of you said that there is different goals for different people, and some of you said that there is only one goal. Now people who said there is one goal, can you explain why do you say that there is one goal? No, materially also. Meet God? No, I am talking on material level. Material level goals are same or different? If you want to change your stance, I am talking on not spirituality. I am talking on materially also. The goal is same, because sometimes people seeing us in this dress, then you start, your levels rise, you go to spirituality. No, I am talking about a very simple thing. Materially, is the material goal of every person same, or is it different? Yes? What is the goal? How can you say the goal is same? Status, okay. So everyone wants to reach status. Okay, I put another question for you. Is the goal of life same when you were a child, when you were a student, when you were a teenager, then you became a youngster? Is the same or different? It is? It is different? Please make up your mind. Now I'll tell you, it is actually the same. You'll say, no, come on, that's too much. No, it's not too much. Goal is always one throughout life. When you were a child, you did anything for what? To be happy. When you became a teenager, you wanted to do well in studies. Why? To become happy. When you became a youngster, you wanted to do any job or business to get money to become happy. When you became middle-aged, everything you did was to become happy. When you become old, also you do all the things so that you can become happy. So the goal is one. That is the biggest mistake which all of us commit, not here, but everywhere, all around the world, is that we think the means to be the goal. The means to be the goal. Like a person says, I want to become the CEO of the company. He says, that is my goal. No. If I tell you, you become CEO of a company, you'll get cancer 4th stage. Would you take it? You will not. That means that's not the goal. Goal never changes. Goal remains the same in every circumstances. You understood? So he says, this is the question I put up to one of the persons in India. He was the son of a very big industrialist. He said, I've got my goal clear, because he did, one brother did his MBA from Harvard and the other did his engineering from MIT, the best in the world. And they said, our goals are very clear. And when I told them this, they said, no, I don't want it then. So then that's not the goal. The goal means it never changes. Because if you see, goal changes. Tell me. After you put the ball into the goal, then you change the pole post, okay? Is that what happens? No, it remains the same. It never changes in life. So first of all, try to understand most of the people, 99.9%. I'm not talking of this place, I'm talking of from India also. IIT, that is the top engineering college of the world. One of the tops, it comes in one of the tops. They go to the US embassy to get a visa, they get in a second like this. They say, I am IIT and going to America, go. They'll say, you wanted a green card just now, you'll get it. Because they want the best intelligentsia to be in states. They are purchaser of intelligence. They are actually buyers. They don't buy money. They don't buy products. They buy intelligence. They buy intelligence. They are smart. I'll tell you, just because this thing came up, I have a friend of mine whose father was a very big industrialist in India. He's no more. He has been in the parliament and everything, and he's a very big industrialist. He was only 12th standard pass, 12th, but he used to give lectures on finance to IIM Ahmedabad, the top management institute in India. And he was called to the Western world to give lectures on finance, though he was only a 12th standard pass, but he had a very great, he was a financial genius. So he, when he was young, he went to States and he requested, it was in 60s, he requested that time Rockefeller was the richest man in the world. Must have heard about Rockefeller. He was at that time in 60s the richest man in the world because he had almost commanded 50% to 60% of the oil fields of America. And that's not a small thing. And he was the richest man in the world. He said, I want an appointment with you. I'm a budding businessman from India. He said, I'll only give you 5 minutes and you can only ask me one question. He went there and asked him, what is your secret of success? He says, my secret of success is only one thing, and that is, I can use the brains of others for myself. So understood? I have the intelligence. That's why a person who can delegate authority is the person who goes up, not the person who does the things himself. That's a very simple rule of management. If you can delegate authority, that means you can go up. If you can't delegate authority, you'll remain where you are. So the goal remains the same for a rich man, for a poor man, for a middle class man, for any age, any strata of life. The goal is one, and that is to be happy. What now you come down to your problem thing. Problems make you happy, or do they make you unhappy? They make you unhappy. Now you want a solution, but actually what is happening with us is this, that instead of looking for happiness, we think that if I get this, I'll be happy. But most of us, what happens with us? Later on we crib with the same thing. You say, why, I was better off before. We know many people who are very rich in India. They come and tell us, you take away all our wealth, give us happiness, give us some peace of mind. Nor by taking, nor by giving will you get peace of mind. If you give away all your wealth, then also you will not be peaceful. If you get all the wealth of the world, then also you will not be peaceful. That's how my spiritual life actually started. In 69-70, during that time, I used to play a lot of cricket, 70-71, and that time cricketers used to actually become clerks. They were mostly clerks in banks. The banks used to give them the job of a clerk. So I used to play a lot of cricket. So my father used to get very annoyed with me. He says, an officer's son, you want to become a clerk? So I said, if I become a clerk, tell me one thing, I have got no right to be happy. You tell me the trick. If I remain a clerk, I should be happy. If I become a head clerk, then also I should be happy. If I become a manager, I should be happy. If I become a general manager, I should be happy. And if I become the richest man in the world, then also I should be happy. Tell me that formula. Then he told me that formula actually is in the Gita. That is in the spiritual knowledge. That is actually in the spiritual. It's got nothing to do with material. So from then on actually started my inquiry. I didn't take up to this life. No, I started inquiring. So then I realized that actually the goal was one for everyone. That was happiness. And that's what everyone agrees to it after they understand. So goal is to be happy. Now, simple now this formula. Attain goal is equals to success is equals to happiness. So how do you relate now success? Who's successful? A person who's happy or who's attains a particular position? Who's happy? Now try to understand one thing more. If you are happy, your productivity will go up or go down. Very simple. Now the trick is that you should be happy every moment. Oh, if you can know that trick, that means your productivity will go 100%. It will cross 100%. But what happens with us? We are in a dilemma. So for the first step to success is desire for success. Now, whenever I say this word success, immediately relate it with the happiness. Now start changing. When we call it the paradigm shift in management. That basically start changing the way you think. That's why in Hindi there is a saying, Srishti nahi badlo, Srishti ko dekhne ki drishti badlo. Don't change the world, change the way you look at the world. Knowledge actually does not change the world. Knowledge changes the way you look at the world. Simple example. Doctor. Right? When a person was not a doctor, for example, he was in the 12th standard. If a diseased person would come to him, he would not understand that he is diseased and what disease he has, what is the problem. Now when he does his medical, and the same type of person who's with the same type of disease comes to him, what has changed? The disease, or has his way of looking at the disease changed? So remember one thing, same things are there, but in life when you keep on getting knowledge, what happens? The way you look at things start changing. So this knowledge is all about not external changes, it is all about the internal change. And what are we trying in life? For internal change or external change? External. Big house, big car. These are external changes. These are not internal changes. And you have not changed internally, that's why these external changes don't help you. They don't help you. But the first desire is to be successful, that is, be too happy. Yes, I want to be happy. Now, know what will make me successful or happy. Now, what makes a person successful or happy? I've already answered this question in this talk. Now, how do you become happy? What gives you happiness? What can give you happiness? Blanks you have now? What can give you success? One blank. There's only one blank. One word. Huh? No? Goal is happiness. So how do you get successful? How do you become successful or happy? What is that one word which gives you happiness or success? Knowledge. It is actually one word is knowledge. What is the cause? Right knowledge gives happiness, success, tension-free life. Right knowledge means what? Application of the knowledge in the right way. Will give you what? Right or wrong? You go for an interview. What do you do there? You present your knowledge. Is it right? You present your knowledge. In life you have to make decisions. Decisions depend on what? Your knowledge. You take wrong decisions, you have a problem. So that means right knowledge gives happiness and ignorance results in suffering, tensions, failures. Very simple. Anything wrong in this? You basically you go into a relationship with someone who is not right. A business relationship or a personal relationship. What happens to you? Because of ignorance you suffer. You eat in the wrong place. The food was putrefied. What will happen to you? You will fall sick. You board the wrong bus. You reach the wrong place. Instead of going to South Mauritius, you go North Mauritius. In both cases, you are traveling by bus. It's just something like saying that if I ask you that where should I go? In US also, there's the same road which is actually stated one north, one south. So one north is going towards Canada and one south is going towards San Diego. The only changed word is south and north. Now if someone tells me, take the number 1 highway. Now I had it. Because then I'll see this sign, N and S. Then I'll say, I like S. It doesn't depend on my liking. I have to basically decide where I want to go. I want to actually go to the top. I want to go to San Francisco from San Jose. Then I have to take north towards Canada. I can't go down south. So in the same way, it happens many a times that we take a wrong bus. And in life mostly this happens because we are ignorant. So ignorance gives us suffering. It results in tension and failures. I'll talk of tension because that is the biggest problem in the world today. Everyone, I do not know about Mauritius, I think here also this thing should be in. Tensions are in or not? You have tensions. In India it has become so bad that you ask a 6-year-old kid, hey, you're feeling bad? No, I'm in tension. Hey, you 6-year-old chap, you got tensions. You know, just if you, I don't know if you have watched movies or been to India, you got rickshawalas there. They're basically driving the rickshaw and you ask him, you're suffering? No, I'm in tension. That man, CEO sitting there is in tension, this man here is in tension, everyone is in. Now they don't know the word suffering actually. Unhappiness as the word is gone. Now the in thing is tension. And actually the cause is ignorance. The cause is ignorance. I'll come to it because that solution, once you solve that, actually all your problems will be solved. So, now what? Happiness can be positive or negative. You say, come on, what does that mean? Right? It can be positive or negative. What is negative? Let's start off with what is negative happiness. I'll explain to you. When do you feel you are happy? When your desire is fulfilled. Right? Let's say on simple terms, your desire fulfilled, you are happy. But actually, are you really happy? So you'll say, what do you mean by really happy? Now, at that particular point of time, you have got 100 desires. Okay, I'll use the board now, just to explain to you. You can just, and you feel you are happy. But what is with this? You got 100 in the queue. You got 99 desires which are not fulfilled. Now, this world is today is a world of digital, right? Everything in numbers. So let's talk in numbers. You got 100 unhappiness points, right? Or problems, same thing. Problems give you what? Happiness or unhappiness? Unhappiness. So unhappiness points, you got 100. Now 1 point is gone. So how many points of unhappiness remain? 99. And you call yourself you are happy. Are you happy? See, this is called negative happiness. What is it called? Negative happiness. It's not actually positive. But you'll say, there will be never a time when all these will be fulfilled. That means I'll never be happy. No, I'll tell you the trick how you can be happy every time. That's the trick. That's the secret. That's the key. That's the key. Not that I'll make you desireless. Please remember one thing. Sometimes people say, become desireless. For your knowledge, to be desireless is a desire of its own, so you can never be desireless. To be desireless is a desire of its own, so you can never be desireless. Every time. Sometimes people say, I want to become desireless. Then that's also a desire. So how can you be desireless? And desire is actually the main quality of life. What happens to a dead person? He does not desire. His desire is finished. And sometimes it happens in hospitals also. The person is dying and the doctor says he doesn't want to live. Till he doesn't have the desire to live, he'll die. Right? Is it right? Many times they say this. Please ask him to desire to live, then only these medicines will act, otherwise they will not act. So I don't want to make you, who's desireless in the world when you see? Stone. Do you want to become a stone? No. But there has to be just a shift of desire. Then automatically what will happen? You will be happy. I'll tell you about that also, don't worry. So this is negative happiness. Just trying to see it on that perspective. Now your paradigm is shifting a bit. You're trying to understand that what reality is. We are living in the world of imagination. And sorry, you don't eat good food in imagination. This should come on your tongue. If it doesn't come on your tongue, then only saliva. So now we come. Reduction of suffering is negative happiness. This was reduction of suffering. 100 suffering went down to 99. So this is actually what is negative happiness. But we want to talk to positive happiness has no connection with suffering. It is pure positive. It's got no levels of suffering attached to it. It is not in comparison with suffering. It is not relative. How do you do that? Now happiness, first of all, try to understand these 5 levels. These are very important. You are happy or you suffer on 5 levels. Actually, most of us have known suffering more than happiness to be real in reality. Because you yourself set up milestones for happiness. This mistake is yours. I'll be coming to that. Now let us see. The body, senses, mind, intelligence, ego and soul. Right? These are the 5 levels where you are happy or suffering. Now these, as you go down, for suffering also, as you keep going down, your suffering keeps on increasing. If those things are hurt. Body and senses. Simple example. You get hurt, okay? Bleeding. You are unhappy, you are in pain, But greater than that pain is a pain of what? Mind. Tension is where? In the body or in the mind? In the mind. And today science has agreed, medical science says very clearly that 90% of our diseases are psychosomatic. Are what? Coming from the mind. 90%. And for your knowledge, because today the most advanced country, United States, is known as one of the most advanced countries, everyone is looking towards United States, want to copy United States. For your knowledge, the highest selling medicine is antidepressants, taken for depression. That's the highest selling medicine in United States. And number two, of the doctors, the person who's earning the most are the psychiatrists. That's not a sign of a healthy society. Are they a sign of a healthy society? No. But still we look upon them. We look towards them. They themselves are in a bad shape. I was in New York attending an NRI conference was there, in which this point came up. In India, hunger is there. People are dying of hunger in many places in the world. So one of the persons who were there, he said, yes, around the world people are dying out of hunger, and in America people are dying out of obesity. They were the biggest problem of obesity in the world. Overeating, and here, undereating. Common word is eating. So mind, this is very bad. Today they are basically coming on that cancer may be caused due to tensions. That's what they are also thinking, that maybe because we are not getting hold of why cancer has been caused, they say it may be related to the mind. That may be the result of a lot of tensions in life. So we will not talk of the lower three levels, because actually for those three levels you will have to understand more theory. You will have to go in more, but mostly you are relating with these two. Ego, every one of you knows. Because if your ego is hurt, that is worse than being hit by someone, right or wrong? So that means your happiness also grows when you get the right mind, right intelligence, right ego. What will happen? If suffering can be this side, so happiness also can be very good. If you are peaceful in mind, what will happen? Oh my God, that day, the day you are peaceful, just think of the time. And how can you be peaceful? When you are satisfied with yourself. When you are satisfied, you feel so great. You feel so great. So these are the 5 levels. Now I'll come down to, as one goes from level 1 to level 5, the happiness or unhappiness experienced increases. It increases both ways. Happiness and, now, in last 200 years, has knowledge increased or decreased? What would you say? It is increased or not increased? Let's talk practically. I am not talking spiritually or anything. I am talking very simply. In last 200 years, has knowledge increased or decreased? Increased? All of us agree to this? It has increased. Technology has increased. You can't deny it. But next question. I say increased and decreased simultaneously. How? Knowledge has increased to give negative happiness through facilities brought about technologies. Right? It has increased in which way? Negatively. How? Previously people had less desires. They could be easily fulfilled. Today technologies have increased your So what has it increased? Increase your negative happiness. So when the negative happiness increases, remember one thing, this also increases. It has increased. You can't deny it. Tension has increased or decreased? It is increased. So that means there is something wrong with this knowledge. Because knowledge should give happiness. Remember, go back 20 minutes back when I was talking to you. What gives happiness? Knowledge. And what gives unhappiness? Ignorance. That means, is this ignorance or is this knowledge? But positive real happiness has almost vanished as mental tensions has increased multifold, resulting in psychosomatic problems. Everywhere, Prabhuji, this is, you try to understand this. In families, it has increased. Individually, it has increased. In societies, it has increased. Countries today, world over countries, are actually sitting on a spark. You do not know which crazy person would basically get hold of an atom bomb and bomb anyone, and you have half the world gone down the drain. It's a fact. It is not. Some people say that ignorance is bliss, but actually ignorance is never bliss. If ignorance was bliss, why do you send your children to college? Why do you go to college? Be ignorant and be in bliss. But no, sorry, ignorance is not in bliss. This is some foolish man gave this, because he must have not read or studied in his lifetime. That's why he thought that I'll be great if I say ignorance is bliss. Ignorance is not bliss. You got a live wire and you don't know that if you touch the wire you'll die. You'll get a shock. You may die. And you say ignorance is bliss, you go and touch it. Will the wire say, no, he's in ignorance, so I'll not give that person a shock? No, sorry, you're going to get a shock. You can't avoid it. So, it is beginning to be clear that today's knowledge has given us facilities and comfort, but given us life full of tensions. It has acted on the body platform, but it has not acted on the mind platform. Bodily, because of technology, you are much more, you're sitting on a chair, nice comfortable chair. Bodily you are good, but your mind will be basically full of tension, right or wrong. You will be sitting in an air conditioned cabin, or you may be sitting in a Merc, maybe the best BMW in the world. Maybe custom made especially for you only. Like you have the custom made shirts and trousers and everything. So in the same way you got custom made cars also. These people do not know how to spend money. So basically they want how to, at least I can sit comfortably. If my mind is not comfortable, it's not got a comfortable seat. So this has, it has given you facilities. That's why in Hindi they are saying Sukh Suvidha, if you have heard about those words. Sukh Suvidha. Suvidha means comforts. It has given you comfort, but not Sukh. Mentally we are in a worse position that we were before. Now, I told you highest selling medicine in the United States are the antidepressants. Next, which obviously means this knowledge has not been able to deliver happiness. There is something grossly wrong with this knowledge. It has not given us what we want. We are not successful today. We are more unsuccessful than we were before. But we want to be successful in life. For everything we do in life, what do we want? We want happiness. We want to be happy. None of us want to attain positions or have money or anything, and we are not happy. Would anyone of us want this? No, we want to be happy. And we want the trick that if I have that, then also I'll be happy. If I have less of that, then also I should be happy. But this knowledge has been totally a failure in giving us this happiness. Regarding present day knowledge, in next 3 minutes I'll stop here to continue tomorrow by giving you this, telling you about techniques how to basically come to that level of removing attention. But just give me 2 minutes to finish this. So it's almost 1 o'clock. That's the time we should finish. But we started late, but we can't end late. That's a very, in life it happens like that also. When the time comes, you can't tell the death to say, hey, come later. It has to come, it comes. So, two alternatives regarding present day knowledge. First, this knowledge is not knowledge. One alternative is this, that this is not knowledge because it's not giving us happiness. Then how can we consider this as knowledge? Second alternative is this, that there is something very important missing in this knowledge. Something very important missing in this knowledge. Actually, the first alternative is not right because this is knowledge. This is knowledge. You can't deny this is not knowledge because you got light, electricity, you got comforts. So it is knowledge. Technology is conversion of what? Science into, when it is converted for benefits, then it becomes technology. Otherwise, just science is actually, technology is applied science, where you apply the scientific principles for society. So the second alternative is right, okay? Because first alternative, I think, so I also don't agree to it. Because saying that this is not knowledge will be too far-fetching. It is knowledge. I'm using the mic to basically reach you. Is it not so? I'm using the mic to reach you all. So who has given this knowledge? The knowledge which we are talking about, which is also giving us tensions. Because if starts working, I go into a tension mood. Right? The moment it will stop working, what happens? What is this? Get something else. Now, just try to find and add that very important knowledge which is missing, because knowledge can only be completed by knowledge. Because knowledge gives happiness, so that means this knowledge is missing on something drastic. Something drastic is missing. And what is that missing link? That is very, very important. Here we recap. We'll basically stop here. Knowledge gives happiness, ignorance gives suffering. I'll start again tomorrow from this particular point. It will be very nice if you come at 11:30, then I'll be able to explain more. Otherwise, I'll do a shortcut. That's upon you. You want to take a shortcut or you want to take the full thing? It's not upon me, it's upon you. It's your demand. So with this, thank you very much. If you have any questions to what I have taught today, you can please put it up, or you have any doubts, anything, because these sessions are, as I told you, to basically transform our lives. But before transformation, theory is necessary. That's why I tell you, why I'm telling you this. Because till you don't know the theory, you can't apply it. Till you don't know the basic theory, I want to give you the basic theory to make you understand that what I'm going to talk about is so important. Because today knowledge has not been able to deliver what it had to deliver. It has not made our life successful. It has made our life full of tension. How to basically overcome it. So that is what tomorrow also I'll talk a little about theory first, and then I'll go into practical application. Maybe not all applications, because 1 hour is 1.5 hours is not enough, but I'll basically come to the level where I'll help you to, if you follow that, you can reduce your tensions. You can reduce your tensions, which will improve your productivity in all spheres of life. It may be relationship, it may be your work. For a student, it may be going to school, studying. Any walk of life you talk about, and it will help you. It is an all-round, it is a 360-degree solution. It is not 180, it is not 90, it is 360 degrees of solution. Thank you very much. Again, any questions, please, welcome. No questions? Thank you. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. See you tomorrow.